What are the three main points that you're standing for?
So I think that there's a lot of growth that's happening in Cromwell at the moment, and I think sort of controlling how that growth, or having a say in how that growth happens, is what drives me. And I think the issues that are going to come out of that is where things are going to be placed. I think that our fresh water is going to come under pressure, and I also think that some of our farmland is going to come under pressure as that's gobbled up by housing. So those are the three sort of main pillars of looking at growth, I suppose, as I see them, that I'd be looking to focus on.
You've stolen my thunder a bit. My second question, what's your position on growth in Cromwell and across the region?
So I think you can't stop growth, and so the best way to deal with the growth is to channel the growth, and it can be negative or positive, and if you don't do anything about it, if you don't channel it, then I think you're probably going to end up quite negative and ad hoc and random, and there'll be things popping up where you don't need them, and you'll be losing things that you don't realise you're losing. So yeah, I think that controlling that growth is the best way to do it. And so this is my second term that I'm standing for on the community board, and we noticed or realised that that was a problem facing Cromwell 3 years ago, and that's why we sort of got together and did the master plan, and that was the first step, and we've approved a spatial framework which is going to start setting out where things are going to go. So that first step is now sort of almost done, and through this next term I think will be where all the next steps will come into controlling that growth.
What do you think should happen to the Cromwell Memorial Hall?
So I think, from memory, I think about 86% of the Cromwell community said that they want something new, something purpose-built, something that reflects the aspirations of our community as it's growing. Funnily enough, it always comes back to growth. So I think that some kind of new building with heaps of community input into what gets built is the way forward. So I support that, and I really am quite into the idea of community-led development at the moment. So some kind of community-led, and you'll probably be aware that there's a trust that's sort of formed to look into that and sort of try and represent the community's sort of views. And if there was something like that drove the development of the hall, I'd be supportive of that.
The Cromwell Mall, the sort of retail heart of the town, how can we ensure it's a vibrant place for businesses, for visitors and for locals?
It's a really big issue, that one, and whenever you come to Cromwell, even whether you're new or old, that's one of the things that stands out, is what are we going to do about this mall? So the master plan actually originally started almost as a mall redevelopment plan, and when we started looking into that, we realised that it was bigger than just the mall. So looking at how the mall but also the town functions is probably how you tackle that one. So getting people back into the mall, or at least around it in terms of living there, but also looking to extend the economy, the time that the economy operates in the mall. You've got to try and get that sort of 17-hour day if you can. So it's not always closed and always a dust bowl. But getting offices back, getting people back is probably the way that I'd be looking to tackle that. And there is an arm of that, or a leg of that, in the master plan, and that work will continue to happen over this next term.
Tell us a bit about yourself and what makes you feel emotional about this community.
So I moved to Cromwell about 5 years ago with my wife and 2 young kids, and I moved here because I've been living in big cities for a long time, and I always wanted to get back to sort of my sort of family history is that we were, my mum's family were orchardists, so I'd always wanted to move back to an area like this, and so I moved back to Cromwell to bring up my kids in this awesome environment. But probably the thing that makes me the most emotive, and what I didn't expect, to be honest, but hoped I would find, is the community spirit that is present here. People just get stuck in. It's funny that we just talked about the Cultural Centre Trust, but people just give up their free time. They get together, they share ideas. Whether you're doing planting or lakeside cleanups, and that's sort of the thing that I really like about Cromwell, is that community spirit. It certainly isn't dead here. Whereas if you move to a bigger town, or even maybe over the hill, it's not quite the same as what it is here.